Challenge. With me is Joel Burgess. He's the World Director at Ubitsoft Toronto. And before we kind of get into our talk designing for open world, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background on Joel if you don't know him. So basically, if you've played recent entries in the Fallout or Elder Scrolls series, that you probably played some of Joel's work. Joel's a 13-year veteran of the game industry. He co-founded the level design group at Bethesda, and he specializes in open world and level design. So at GDC this year, he's also organizing and helping to present the Level Designers Workshop, which took place yesterday, okay? And yeah, so in June he decided to take on a new challenge as World Director at Ubitsoft Toronto, so I just wanted to welcome him and pass him the mic if he wants to add a little bit to that.
Yeah, so, well, okay, the main thing is, like, what is a World Director? Which, like, is a super embarrassing job title when you're introducing yourself. It's so grandiose. And so one of the interesting things about like joining Ubisoft Toronto and sort of figuring out what this job role is figuring out like what world really means when we're talking about games. Like world building is one of these things that is strongly associated with like environment art and level design in video games. But when we talk about other media, world building is actually more about like a fictional and internal consistency about the world and making sure that like there's setting and tone that are really strong and are woven into each other. So what I really found appealing and what I'm trying to like find my way through at the studio now in Toronto is helping the team understand what fits and what doesn't fit, how the game design, how the mechanics, how the setting, and how even the workflows like can all sort of be converged on this idea of like a consistent internal theme. So that is as close to an articulate description of my job as I think I've gotten. So like I need to keep working on that and get it down to like a one sentence thing that we can, you know, put on a website.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of funny because if you Google World Director video games, you get Jurassic Park World Director announces blah blah blah. So there's really not much out there as kind of World Director. But Joel, you mentioned a bit about what world building means, what that means in other mediums. You talked about film. What do you think that the games industry can learn from film?
So I think a lot of the conversation about like games and film, we talk about like games like the great work that like Naughty Dog has done, bringing like cinematic technique, or indie developers like Brendan Chung like bringing cinematic technique into games, and that's not necessarily the side of what I look at film and find really interesting. What I find interesting is again like that definition of the word world building. Like the talk that I gave earlier last year in Mexico dealt with a lot of that. Like if you go back and we talk about world building, we look at like J.R.R. Tolkien and the notion of like weaving consistent themes and histories into the backstory of the world. Like that's a conversation that script writers and people working in stage and people writing novels have been like, that conversation's been happening for decades. But in games,